Although archaeology may not be everyone's idea of a fun subject, when you start to delve a little deeper into it, the study of the human past through the examination of material remains reveals a most fascinating field of study. The digs in the desert to find Egyptian mummies or old Viking tombs that Hollywood glamorises certainly have their place, but there is more to archaeology than just the film-worthy stuff. You'd be forgiven for thinking that archaeology is a study of the past, those departed from life and the long forgotten. But, in reality, the discipline is a study of humans, and more specifically, human life. You see, it's important to understand how people lived before us, even if it was thousands of years ago. Some of the world's oldest but best-known civilizations, such as the Roman, Egyptian, Greek, or Mayan empires, give us an invaluable insight into how society has developed over the years. In other words, it shows us why we live and learn the way we do today, and the best thing is that there is always more to discover. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 fascinating recent archaeological discoveries. Israeli zoo finds Roman sarcophagi while building new animal hospital. You may be wondering what a sarcophagi is. Sarcophagi is the plural form of the word sarcophagus, which is essentially a coffin but made of stone and often elaborately decorated. They tend to be associated with ancient Greece, Rome, or Egypt, and would have held the bodies of aristocratic members of those dynasties. In mid to late February 2021, a group of construction workers at a zoo in Israel were tasked with building a new animal hospital. The task was not particularly groundbreaking, and as far as the workers were concerned, they were simply heading for another day on the job. The Ramat Gand Safari Park, where the hospital is to be located, is situated in the Israeli capital of Tel Aviv. The site covers some 250 acres, allowing various animals originating from the vast plains of Africa to be viewed by members of the public in a safari-style experience. Whilst the construction team were digging the foundations of the new hospital, they stumbled across 2 huge slabs of stone. They measured about 6'5" in length and baffled the excavators. None of the workers really understood what the structures were, but had them lifted out of the earth and handed them over to local archaeologists. A few days later, the Friends of the Israel Antiques Authority explained that the things were actually sarcophagi, and funnily enough had actually been discovered some 25 years earlier in another part of the park. However, the original discoverers of the sarcophagi, another group of contractors who had previously undertaken a building project at the zoo, did not think anything of them and simply dumped them in another part of the park. One of the sarcophagi had been damaged in the original find, and somebody had even tried to cover up the break with some concrete. The original contractors had intended to move the sarcophagi once they had finished their work, but the coffins were forgotten about and, over the years, were covered over by sand and vegetation. Until the present day, that is. The sarcophagi were decorated with flowers and discs, an ancient religious symbol thought to protect the deceased. Made of limestone, they were also fairly fragile, hence how one had been damaged previously. Researchers are not entirely sure who the sarcophagi belonged to, other than that they were of high social status. The tombs are not Jewish, as verified by research, but one academic did have a theory that they could be related to the Third Jewish Revolt against the Romans. The location of the zoo lies on the remains of what is thought to be an ancient city called Bnei Brak, which was connected to the revolt. However, once again, researchers cannot be completely sure. The tombs are not currently known to contain human remains, but scholars are confident that they belonged to a husband and wife, given the near-identical decorations on the sarcophagi. The T-Rex's cousin. Everybody has heard of Tyrannosaurus Rex, the flesh-eating, bloodthirsty king of the dinosaurs. Immortalized in literature, film, and the arts, T-Rex has become a figurehead of the prehistoric era, some 66 million years ago. The Earth that the dinosaurs inhabited looked vastly different from the one we know today, with the continents arranged in different positions. Not only this, but of course, human beings did not exist. As a matter of fact, our first human ancestors would not appear for over 50 million years after the dinosaurs became extinct, and for most of the Jurassic period, the world was split into only two supercontinents, called Eurasia and Gondwana. The dinosaurs survived the Triassic-Jurassic extinction event at the end of the first part of the Mesozoic era, which was the period spanning about 190 million years in which the dinosaurs existed. These creatures were pretty tough, but perhaps none more so than the infamous T-Rex, which many assume to be the most dangerous dinosaur that ever lived. But the T-Rex had ancestors, and dinosaurs similar to this, most ferocious of predators, lived millions of years before it existed. In early February 2021, scientists and archaeologists released details of a new species of T-Rex that originated from what is now Canada, Alberta, to be specific, on the banks of the Bow River. Thought to be around 79 million years old, this dinosaur was some 8 feet tall at the hip and grew to around 26 feet in length. Although not as big as the T-Rex, this dinosaur had a truly terrifying appearance and was aptly named the Reaper of Death, derived from its Greek name, and we will refer to it as the Reaper. The T-Rex and the Reaper share several features, including their sharp teeth capable of ripping any mammal to shreds. However, the Reaper is distinguished through the ridge that covers its eyes. It's been 50 years since any tyrannosaurid was discovered in Canada, and for researchers, the Reaper as the oldest known variant of the species ever found in Canada. The world's oldest brewery discovered in Egyptian archaeological dig. Like many other countries all around the world, Egypt has suffered from a huge drop in tourism over the past year due to everything that has happened. Normally a hugely visited country on account of its many historical treasures, Egypt is hoping to draw visitors back in their droves once the pandemic is over to the exciting discovery by Egyptian and American archaeologists of what is thought to be the world's oldest brewery, situated in an ancient burial site in Abydos in southern Egypt. The ancient factory dates back some 5,000 years to the reign of King Nama, considered to be the unifier of Egypt. First discovered by British archaeologist T. Eric Peat over 100 years ago, but then lost due to difficulty in establishing its location, the site was rediscovered in 2018 using magnetic surveying techniques. Comprising of 8 large sections, each measuring 65 feet by 8 feet and containing 40 earthenware urns set out in 2 rows, the industrial-scale brewery would have been capable of producing almost 5,900 gallons of beer at a time by heating large amounts of grains and water in the vats. According to New York University's Matthew Adams, who co-led the archaeological team, the factory appeared to have been built specifically at Abydos to provide beer for rituals inside funeral facilities for the kings of Egypt. Indeed, written records from ancient Egyptian civilizations indicate that, unlikely as it may seem, beer was an important drink in ancient Egypt, as it was not only used in funeral rituals to honor dead pharaohs, but also in sacrificial rites. After hearing today's stories, you can see that there is a lot more to archaeology than dusty old pots and pans. Sure, history isn't for everybody, but it's fascinating to know that so many revealing things have been discovered, and that there are still so many more exciting things to discover buried deep beneath our feet. But what do you make of these 3 recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.